Hi, I'm Katie Uhlmann, an actress based out of Toronto, Ontario. Come join me for a new web series, Canada's Best Success Stories. Join me as I go and find local success stories in the most unusual places. First, we'll start in Kingston, Ontario, at Kingston Paint and Decorating. So here I am with Hal Cowie, the owner of Kingston Paint and Decorating. Can you tell me a brief history of your store and a little bit about yourself?
Sure. We opened the business in 1994. It was in the fall. It was actually October 31st, Halloween, which was kind of an interesting day to open a paint store. Prior to that, I had been working for national paint companies. And I had held many roles through the paint industry for the last 30-odd years.
And are you from Kingston originally?
Originally from the Montreal area, but grew up in Kingston. So I went to high school here and spent many years early in my career here before I left to seek my fortune in the big cities.
And how has your business evolved over the years since you first opened?
Well, it's changed a lot. When we opened in '94, it was about 2,000 square feet, myself and 2 other employees. It now covers 6,000 square feet, and I think we have about 10 people that work there. So it's changed. As it's grown, it's in the same location, but we've just taken over adjoining spaces. So it's actually tripled in size in the last 15 years.
And how many people were at the store when it opened?
There were 3 of us, myself, and I hired 2 individuals. One of them who's still with me, the store manager, started the first week we opened, and another gentleman who's since passed away. One of the key people in the business has been Carrie Lynn McPherson, and she's been with me since day one. We share an office together. We've been through a lot of personal stuff together in terms of personal family things that we both experienced. When you work in close quarters like that, it's hard not to become part of people's lives, or certainly a lot of knowledge of what goes on in their personal life. It's not like working at a big company where you have any anonymity. It really doesn't exist in a small store. But she's become a really interesting person. When she started with us, she had just graduated from Queen's and was going to try and get into Teachers College. And at that particular time in history, 16 years ago, it was tough to get into Teachers College, even with the good grades that she had. So she was kind of waiting her turn and came to work for us as an interim thing, and really started part-time and moved to full-time very quickly. And after she was there for a couple of years, her shot at Teachers College came up, and she decided to stay, which was a really interesting thing. Really thrilled to have her. And she's another person that's developed. I mean, when she started, she had a little bit of retail background in the food service industry, and she worked in the tourist industry on the boat lines, but really didn't have any home improvements products experience. And she's become technically one of the best paid people in the country. She's very knowledgeable and has gone on courses and has really studied the product stuff. She's also a good manager and has become a very savvy financial manager and a good buyer. Ultimately, she's my successor. The plan is that when I do finally retire, she's going to take over. So it's very nice to have a succession plan. And you know, we had 4 kids that were involved in the business, and they had their own dreams, and it wasn't owning the store. But luckily, she came along early in the game, and so we've always had that plan in place. So very fortunate to have her. We have some other people. We have a designer, a lady named Lindsay Down, who's been with me for a long time. And she's a very quiet lady, very understated, but it's very common for me to be at a social function in town and have somebody say, "Oh, your designer came to our house and she's just amazing." So we're very, very, very lucky. And as previously stated in our interview, probably for me, one of the most gratifying parts is when you're in the community and people say nice things about the employees, or you get a letter or a phone call, and people go out of their way to tell you that they're happy. I mean, that's not real common. They don't hesitate to tell you when they're not happy. Mm-hmm. But when people go out of their way to tell you that they're satisfied, I think that's real special. So we've been very fortunate.